7:14 on a rainy day. Barry Lagg's over at mic number 2, and we got a guest coming in later at 7:30. Going to be talking with Kindness Incorporated. And I invited Barry to stop by, and we wanted to talk about family issues, and we haven't talked about this in a while. You work with young adults, young married couples, those that are expecting children, those haven't had children, and some that already have children. What's some of the biggest factors in keeping families together nowadays? It's a struggle.
Definitely. That is definitely a struggle. First of all, I appreciate you asking me out to come and share some of my thoughts and experiences with this. And yes, I work with families as a family minister, and I just see the various issues that families are dealing with today. And I would say that sin is common to all man, and that every person is tempted in every generation in similar fashion, and I believe today's issues are similar to those of the past. I think a lot of these issues are magnified in a lot of ways because of media, but the reality of it is that every generation has to try to figure these things out in their particular culture, in their particular context, and as a Christian, for us, through a biblical lens. And I think that's the issue. When Jesus is not at the center of that particular relationship or that family, no matter how they are particularly put together, a single mom, a mom and dad, with children, no children, there's different cultural context there as well, from state to state, country to country. But when Christ is not at the center of it, and you don't understand that family is ultimately about God, you're going to have issues. You're going to have this kind of me-ism theology of understanding of life. It's all about me. It's all about my happiness. It's about making me, pleasing me and my agenda and what I want out of life. And that's not what we see from Christ himself. We see that he laid his life down for the church. And so when families don't understand that, then they're going to have problems.
One thing I notice in the very few times I watch, remember when I sit down for supper, I'll turn on an old rerun of something and watch it. But even then, the commercials, you'll see a mom with no dad helping the kids, or a dad with no mom. When I was a kid, we'd watch Andy Griffith. And you can remember those old shows where Andy and Aunt Bee and Opie all sat down at the dinner table together. Sometimes Barney came over too. Leave It to Beaver. They all sat down at the dinner table and had supper together. Is that something that's gone from our families? I mean, are we so busy with different activities that we can't sit down for 30 minutes to a meal as a family anymore?
Definitely. I'm very passionate about this particular issue regarding, fathers, dads, heads of the households, and just kind of leading the family in that particular way. That's really where theology and practice took place for a particular generation, for previous generations. And that's how you got to know one another, was over a meal. And we really see this exemplified in how Jesus lived and moved and had his being with his disciples, his apostles specifically. A meal with Jesus was common, and that's why we kind of joke about it in the church, where Jesus and food go together. But that's kind of a biblical truth, actually, with some weighty theology there, where that's where gospel conversations happen. That's where you find out, hey, Johnny, Susie, what happened at school today, and how was class? What was the highlight of your day? What was the low point of your day? And that's how you get to know one another and converse. It's interesting in this great technological age where we're supposed to be, connected greatly and networked greatly, and
we're
converse.
So far apart.
We're very far apart, and we have to text one another a conversation, and people don't know how to talk to one another because those practices have been lost because we are so busy. We have, the various activities to go to, and we have to attend them for, various reasons, of course, but that's lost. And when we lose those gospel conversations, you're going to lose a generation.
Now, what about the influence of TV shows nowadays on the family? say you got mom and dad both working, the kids get home, say the kids get off the bus at 4, mom may get home at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they're in the house. Now, when you get home, you lock the door and you sit there and watch TV till I get home. What are they watching?
Well, the thing about this is what's interesting that we often forget about television, about media, about anything as far as a medium goes, like books, magazines. They all come with theologies. They all come with isms, philosophies, ideas, and all ideas, as C.S. Lewis once said, have consequences, whether they're good or bad. And these shows come with a certain prepackaged theology that we need to be aware of. We need to be skilled enough in knowing what's being put on the table before us so that we can have those conversations with our families about the theology from the show, from the movie, whether it's Avengers 2 or, whether it's, some forensic file show that you're watching.
Just as you said that, I remember a promo on a new TV show coming. I don't even know what channel it's on. I guarantee you ain't going to watch it, but it's called Genie in a Bikini.
Okay, haven't heard of that one. Okay,
and I don't know what channel. I severed through the channels the other day. I actually was looking when
a little bit different than I Dream of Genie, I'm sure.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Well, what it boils down to is this guy is dressed in a bikini, and he's kind of a Looney Tunes type of thing. Well, it's supposed to be funny, but what the subliminal line is: here's a cross-dresser.
Right.
Here's a cross. Oh, all of a sudden, well, the guy on TV's in a bikini, and so now here's what's going to happen. You're going to see little boys and young. Well, can you see the pattern? We laugh at it. You can go all the way back to the days of MASH TV show when they were laughing at homosexuality. You can go back even further where they were. Well, look at Andy Griffith Show where we'd laugh at Otis and he was the drunk. You were laughing at alcoholism.
Right.
We made it humor. We made it entertainment.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, they all communicate a message. And if we are not intentionally, kind of on mission to discern what's being kind of fed through that particular medium, we're going to be affected by it. It's very difficult to say, well, or maybe a logical impossibility to say, okay, I can watch this and not be affected by it. The eyes, the ears are made to receive information. The brain is made so that we can process information. And if we don't have that particular biblical theological filter, we will be affected by it negatively. So we have to be aware of what we're watching and be able to see it from a God-sized lens.
And I think a lot of the issues we have with young people right now is they have a hard time determining between fantasy and reality. I mean, you can take a camera and you can film anything and edit anything you want. It's just phenomenal what you can do with technology. But yet, I feel sometimes young people see what's on TV and can't determine that that's fantasy over reality. Take, for instance, the shooting in Aurora, Colorado at that movie theater. Once he started shooting, he realized, oh, wow, this is really happening. But yet you get these Xbox games, and some of those are extremely violent. And we've let murder become entertainment. But yet when it happens in reality, it's like, oh, wow, we're shocked. Look at Sandy Hook Elementary.
Right. And let's
and
go
he was
back.
A gamer.
Absolutely. And let's go back to those gospel conversations over the dinner table. This would be the ideal time and situation or opportunity, we'll call it, to have those conversations about those games. It's interesting. I remember when the Harry Potter movies came out, there was a big uproar with the content of that and witchcraft and whatnot in the Christian community. And then very close to that, you had the Lord of the Rings. And so there was with Tolkien's books and movies now, of course. And there was this big debate about, if Harry Potter is bad, then the Lord of the Rings must be bad because it's very similar. And so, that's like these games and other things that our kids are involved in. That's an opportunity to say, okay, let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about those things and why this may be something that's not healthy for your soul over against this other book or this other movie. Is this one clearly making a distinction between good and evil, or is this one calling evil good and good evil. And
Exactly. That's what we're doing now.
and that's the best place to do that is over a meal, or family gatherings or events where we can kind of actually have these conversations where we're not so busy to the point that we can't talk to each other.
Interesting. And so, let's bring it into today's perspective. We've got, right now baseball's going on. I'm sure there's, in fact, I've got a brochure on a basketball camp coming up. It's just go, 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 go all the time. And that's why we have so many fast food restaurants. You just whoop into McDonald's or Wendy's or somewhere, grab you half a dozen different value meals and run on and gobble it while you're in the van and head on to your event, whether it's school, church, or sports or something like that. Are we too busy for our own selves?
I believe we are. I believe we are. There's great benefit in being intentional about scheduling your times together and saying, okay, we need this as a family. This is a priority for our family. That's why we really need strong leaders and heads of households to do that, to say, okay, baseball may not be the great evil of our day, but maybe going to baseball 7 days a week is. We need to reorient our lives around the gospel, which implies rest. Jesus is the Sabbath rest. And so even Jesus took naps. Even Jesus took breaks away from his hectic kind of missional schedule there. And so if the Son of God took breaks and rested, then by all means the church and the family should take breaks as well and have a meal together and talk about gospel matters. And so we have to schedule those things in and be very intentional about it. So if you do have baseball, we're not going to sacrifice the meal together. We're still going to do the meal. It may mean kind of reorienting our lives around some things, but we're going to guard this because it's sacred. The dinner table is sacred for the family, for the health of our generation and the following ones behind us.
Then, of course, you got the temptations on the internet and some of the stuff that you can see there. I mean, how do we protect ourselves? I mean, sometimes it's just, oops.
Vigorously, and intentionally. I believe one of the great strategies of the enemy is distraction, and to get our eyes off the prize. And life is busy often, and life can be extremely hectic. We have schedules, we have appointments, we have objectives that we all have to achieve in our workplaces and even within our own families. And I believe that's one of the great strategies. If he can get us off mission and making it all about Jesus, then we're going to be very lazy about the internet. We're going to be very lazy about our iPhones and iPads and what our kids are watching, what our families are watching, adult men and women as well, who are they want to escape reality. So they get on these things and they just, it's a good bait and switch for the enemy to
It's
use.
like Dennis the Menace asking his mom for a cookie 85 times. Oh, yes, just get a cookie, leave me alone.
That's right.
You wore him down. Just go get on the computer and look at something. You finally just wear mom and dad down to the point where, and that's where we got to guard ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very similar to a vehicle. I don't think anybody, when they first made the automobile, people said, man, this is going to be a dangerous weapon. Or an airplane. I mean, when people invented the airplane, and the old Wright brothers got that thing off the ground, I'm sure they didn't think, one day somebody's going to fly an airplane into a building and kill 3,000 people. Is the airplane the issue? No, but man's heart is deceitfully wicked. Yep. Who can understand that? So we have to guard our hearts and our minds from these things, because anything can be used as a weapon against the soul.
Interesting. Wow. Well, I'm sure we've got a few people thinking out there, but it's just the family unit to me seems in the last, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years, seems like the family unit has dissolved. Now I'm down to 30 seconds before we go to break, but just your final thoughts on giving folks some pointers. How can we bring back the family unit, make it a strong family unit in our homes?
Right. I'll just hit that bullet point again. When it's not all about Jesus and you're not finding your identity in Christ, you're going to try to find it somewhere else. Yeah. It could be sports, it could be internet, it could be Xbox games, it could be your workplace or other relationships. And that's the key, is finding your identity in Jesus and he said he'll take care of the rest.
Visiting with Barry Lagg. Up next, we got Debbie and Larry here from Kindness Incorporated. Right now, it's the local news. Be right back. 7:35. I'm looking at the radar right now. It's raining from, well, it's easier to tell you where it's not raining. Basically, from Texarkana to Fort Smith to Fayetteville to Mountain Home to West Plains, it's wet. Anyway, Larry and Debbie are here from Kindness and Barry's over at mic number 2. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
You've got some fundraisers coming up for Kindness.
Yes, we do. The first one is this weekend. Carter's Jewel Chest for the 10th year is sponsoring the Dig for Diamonds. And it is a fundraiser for kindness. You get to go out and play in the sand in front of their store.
Saves you a trip to the Crater of Diamonds Park, doesn't it?
There you go. There you go. They actually bring a front loader in,
Really?
fill it with sand, and then there's little capsules in there that you get to dig for. There will be a 1/4 carat diamond in the sand in Friday and Saturday,
Wow.
plus other prizes and discounts.
Fun. And all proceeds goes to Kindness.
All proceeds come to kindness. Yes.
Well, now it's been a while since you and Larry have been here. Refresh our memory. What's Kindness all about?
We are a nonprofit organization that provides transportation for elderly and disabled adults in Baxter and Marion County. We started here in Mountain Home, so it is a local nonprofit organization. And all of the transportation is provided by our volunteers. To give you a little idea of what they do, last year our volunteers drove 43,378 miles.
Say that again.
43,378 miles.
Wow.
And taking people to any place they need to go, whether it's shopping, to the beauty shop, to the doctor, get prescriptions, and just all kinds of places that people need to go that can no longer drive for whatever reason, getting too old or they have a physical ailment or whatever.
Huh.
So we provide that service, no
Is
charge.
there any limitations to, I mean, what if I was to the point where I needed this? Can I call you Monday and Thursday or Tuesday? Does it?
We're not a taxi service, so we can't do it immediately. We do need at least 3 days notice. We prefer 4 to 5 days. That way it gives us a chance to call our volunteers, to schedule them, and, not always will they be available. We have actually had to turn some people down because we don't have volunteers in the area of where the client is.
What do you need from a volunteer? Probably need a background check first, don't you?
Actually, we don't do a background check right now. We do take references though. And we do call them very diligently. It's to have a valid driver's license, current insurance, a safe vehicle, because the volunteer does use their own vehicle. Now, we do have a limitation. We do not take anyone that is wheelchair dependent. Because, like I said,
the liability factor.
Well, mainly because our volunteers are using their own vehicles. They're not wheelchair accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. The other thing that they need to do is you need to know is that it's the volunteers volunteer at their own convenience, so it's not necessarily a long-range commitment. You'll be called to see if you are available on a particular day, and you can either make yourself available and provide the service or not. It's at your convenience, so it works pretty well. And that's one of the reasons that we need an awful lot of volunteers to fill all of the needs that this community requires.
And you service strictly Baxter County?
Baxter and Marion.
And Marion.
Yes, we do both.
And it's kind of awkward at times, if you have somebody in Bull Shoals that needs to go over to Mountain Home to a doctor's appointment, let's say, if we can only find somebody available that lives in Mountain Home, then it's actually ends up being 4 trips back and forth.
No.
So it needs to. We need to
somebody
have.
in Bull Shoals.
Yeah, we
Yes.
need more people in the Marion County area. Always have, and it is a problem that we deal with constantly.
Barry, you got a question for him?
Yeah, probably just what is the length as far as the process for volunteers from start to finish becoming a volunteer, and do you train them, and how long does that take?
Yes, we do have a volunteer orientation at the office, usually an hour, maybe 2, depending on how many we're talking to at the same time.
So this is something if people in the community wanted to give back and serve this particular community, they could get equipped quickly and trained so that they could get going and start serving their neighbors.
Yes.
And it is a wonderful service, and you find out that our volunteers like it. They meet new people.
I started to say, I bet
and
there's
they,
some friendships being made here.
Get new friends that they have never met before, and it becomes a really wonderful service, and you feel good in doing it, and you meet new people who really need your services. So you feel good about providing your services.
Larry has actually been one of our volunteers for a long time, as well as serving on committees and the board at one time. So he's...
How long you been?
About 9 years.
Have been that long?
Yeah. Actually, maybe more than that. So I joined in 2003, I guess. So that's about 12 years.
12 years.
Actually, I've
Yeah.
been on the board for 7, those years. So it's been a love relationship, really.
It's interesting. It's funny how just one person's idea and getting something like this started can snowball down the hill and become something so firm in the community.
Yeah, it really is. And it's really well supported by the people who need these services and all of the business communities also.
Let's talk a little bit about the golf tournament.
Okay,
Right.
this is our 9th annual golf tournament. It is June the 6th. That is a Saturday. Tee off is at 8:30. And we are still taking sponsorships. If anyone is interested, we have lots of room for that. And of course, players. The tournament is a 2-player team. We will have a $10,000 hole-in-one contest, a $10,000 putting contest, secondary hole-in-one prizes, and probably some more games along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a wonderful day. We've moved it to the late spring here so that we don't get involved in the later year chances of snow and hopefully before the people have to go back to school. Summertime, of course, people are out of town going on
Well,
vacation.
that's the perfect
so
weekend right there because I think
It
school
really
just
is.
dismisses for the year for most districts. But
And the green should be nice and green after.
Are you a golfer?
This week? I've hit one good shot to make me a believer, so I think I could.
What about Jesse Green? Does he play golf?
Yeah, he
Here,
does.
you two
He
sign up
does.
real quick right here.
Maybe
All
just
right.
yeah. there
New
you go.
players.
Exactly. We could make some good stories.
You
out
can
of
make
this.
some history out there,
That's
Barry.
right.
Now we'll have 2 or 3 flights, depending on the number of entries. There will be, of course, a men's flight and a ladies' flight, and then a mixed flight is sometimes combined with the ladies, depending on how many show up. So that we are going to set up flights of about 10 to 12 people, and then if we get more, as we get more entries, we'll add additional flights. And we're going to feed these people too after they finish playing. There's going to have a wonderful putting contest where you have an opportunity to make putts, 3 putts that'll end up, if you make them all with a single try on each hole, you win $10,000, which is pretty a good opportunity here. And it's fun. Everybody in the tournament gets to make this effort. Same thing is true with the hole-in-one. In fact, we're going to have 5 hole-in-one tee boxes. Now, there's only one that gets the $10,000
yeah.
prize, but all the rest get a prize of worth about $500. And this could be either a new set of golf clubs or a iPad or a card worth $500. So it's worth coming out just to try those 5 tries for a hole-in-one. You never know when it's going to happen. It's a fun time day.
Those percentages are looking better for you golfers out there. Y'all, I would encourage you strongly to get involved with this.
It's actually a wonderful time that the parents can come out and play with their kids. You know, that kind of opportunity doesn't often come along.
Yeah.
And play in a tournament, and who knows what happens. It's
a
fun
fundraiser. Fun.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We're wanting to have fun.
Absolutely.
And it's one of our main raising opportunities of the year. We have 3 or 4 of those, and this is one of our major ones. So we appreciate the support the community does. And it's a lot of fun.
How many players have y'all typically had in a given year for this fundraiser?
Well, we generally have 30 or so.
All right. That's a good
We're
little
hoping
tournament.
for more this year. We'll see what the weather brings.
What's the most you can handle? Can you handle 75 to 100?
Yeah, we can handle up to about 90, actually.
90,
It's about the maximum amount that the course will handle. And we'd like to see that many, obviously.
And that's going to be a good day because that's the first weekend after school lets out.
Yes.
Should be good weather. Hopefully we need the rain, but I'm looking forward to a few days of sunlight and
Definitely.
get things dried out.
Now, you can sign up for this tournament at the golf course. They have entry fees, and or you can stop by our office and get a application. And
where's that office located, Larry?
I don't know.
We are at 942 Coley Drive.
Oh, that's a good location.
Yeah, just a
down
block
from the post
down
office.
from the post office.
Sure.
Right.
We need to take a quick break. We're visiting with Larry and Debbie from Kindness Incorporated and Barry over at mic number 2. Be right back. 7:50 on a rainy Wednesday, and Barry has got some stats for us concerning Kindness Incorporated. Barry?
Yes, in 2014, there were funds raised to help Kindness Incorporated to build 19 wheelchair ramps and install 48 grab bars. Their volunteers drove 43,378 miles. They served 4,260 hours while helping 222 clients with 1,985 appointments or personal trips.
Wow, that's dedication.
Absolutely.
That's some good stats. Yeah. Larry, you had something else you want to talk about on the golf?
On the golf tournament, I just wanted to mention that we will take player applications and sign up the morning of the golf tournament. Although it's be nicer if we could have you sign up in advance at the golf course, we will sign you up that morning. Be there around 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We'll have donuts and coffee for you, but we'd like to see everybody who wants to play.
And Barry, on those stats, it was how many appointments? 1,900 and some?
1,985 appointments or personal trips in 2014.
Y'all stay busy.
They do.
My
it
goodness.
Averages out to about 30, 35 trips a week. There has been weeks that it's been more. Judy, our client volunteer coordinator, has told me there was one week that we had 60 trips, and she got them all filled.
Yeah.
Wow.
10 a day almost.
Yeah.
9 a day.
And so, folks, we've got a need in Marion County. Is that right? We need more
Yes.
volunteers over there because
Need volunteers, yes.
if you've got folks in perhaps Yellville, Flippin, Bull Shoals that have to come to Mountain Home, if somebody's in Mountain Home that has to go there, here, and back,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
the mileage adds up, which they're willing to do. But if we had somebody in Flippin, Yellville, or Bull Shoals that can make just the one round trip, it's more economical.
Yes, it is. It is.
And that's one of the things we keep constantly are looking for is volunteers from that area. And for any area, actually, because, the more volunteers we have, the less often you're going to get called. We just try to match the volunteer to the need of the particular client. So,
And a lot of times our volunteers are part-time. They'll be here during the summertime
Oh, really?
and they may go someplace else for the winter, or they're someplace else for the winter and they come here for the summer. And we love it. They tell us when they're going to be here, and that's when we call them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
as I say, it's your choice of when you provide the service of driving these people around, and we provide door-to-door service, so we give them our elbow and walk them out to our car, and we do the same thing at the doctor's office. Open the doors for them as they go in.
Looking
So
for the safety
it's
issues,
a very personal thing. And
So let's say that a volunteer out there is listening and says, well, I could do that from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock every Monday. You could set that
Exactly.
block.
you
Yes.
bet.
Just do block
exactly
timing.
right.
Yes.
That's one of the pieces of data that we keep on the volunteers is what days they are available to fit their personal schedule, and we'll call them as needed.
Well, we're down to the final 90 seconds. Who's got a final thought here? Larry and
Debbie
Debbie.
here.
Anything that anyone would like to volunteer for, we appreciate them very much. Our volunteers are the ones that run kindness. They're the ones that do the work, that get out there and help the clients, and we appreciate them so, so much. We are located at 942 Coley Drive. Our number is 870-425-6475. We have the fundraiser for Carter's Jewel Chest, Dig for Diamonds, so come out and play in the sand.
And that's this Friday
week-
and Saturday.
This Friday and Saturday, and they'll be having lunch there on Friday. So you can come out, have lunch, play in the sand, all for $3.
Wow.
What a deal. And then
A
the golf,
diamond for $3.
there you go. And then the golf tournament
Great
is
fundraiser.
June the 6th.
Yeah. Barry, you got 30 seconds. Your final thoughts.
30 seconds. All right. Yeah, I
Family
think
issues.
family issues.
Bring the family back together.
Well, this is a good catalyst for what I could say here is, families should be about serving, and Christ laid down His life for us, and therefore we should lay down our lives for one another, and we do it for our own immediate family, but our extended family and community here in the Mountain Home area in Baxter and Marion County. And so I think this is a great ministry and service to those
yeah.
here.
That wraps it up. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got the Hannity update and other good things for you. We'll see you tomorrow.